there's not much out there on it. Why? Because most guys who use these strategies keep their mouth shut. You're typically not going, oh, wow, I'm making $1 million on this amazing strategy. Let me see if I can go sell it in a chat.
Put that on live.
Or $10. These strategies do work, and they are out there, and they're not promoted. And also, if some guy's trying to sell you, saying he's making tens of millions of dollars, he wants to sell you a strategy for $50, think twice about that. Yeah, well, that's what I started off in a prop firm, almost 25 years ago. And although there wasn't real structured education, you're just kind of thrown out there, and it's fairly secretive. I don't think when you generally see most education, it's about candlestick patterns and technical patterns, but I'm trying to share this style, which is basically, I call it glitch trading, but it's taking advantage of inefficiencies, malfunctions, and arbitrage within the market.
Welcome to Trade the Advantage, the podcast that interviews some of the industry's top traders. And today we have a top trader with 20 plus years in the game, but also one of the more memorable, one of the more up and down stories of some that I've heard. But he's also the author of Cash Rules, Reminiscence of a Stock Trader. He unveils a lot of the stories in that book. Former prop firm owner with Cream Capital, and a loyal 12-year plus customer at Zimtra. David, how are you? Pleasure to speak with you.
I'm good. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to talk to you and meet you.
It's very interesting. I've interviewed quite a lot of different guests, but I don't think I've interviewed many from England. I haven't interviewed many, especially from Grays town in Essex. And I know you were mentioning in the book, and I encourage everyone to go out, and anyone who's trading or anyone who's an active trader, look out for David's book. I've just mentioned it. We'll put the link in the description. It's a fun, light read, but there's some key lessons along the way as well. And one of the first things that you mentioned was that you had a kind of a working class upbringing. No one from your family was in finance. Did you find that kind of hindered you in a way, or do you think it helped you because you had those working class roots?
No, again, I think trading. I try to emphasize this. Trading, we're not really finance. If we're day traders, we're not finance guys really. I equate a good trader to like a scavenger or a hacker or someone. So. I don't think, that's definitely not a prerequisite as some kind of, pedigree in the finance world or even the finance degree or any kind of financial education. It's trading, it's tough. It's more about how psychologically tough you are. It's more about the hustle. It's more about the grind. It's, a lot of traders I think have more background in, let's say, poker or chess or games like that than finance. I think that kind of background's more advantageous to a trader than, having your parents in finance or something like that. So no, again, if anything, I don't think it had any effect. It might even help, let's say.
Yeah, no, like the two things come to mind when you talk about that. And I remember a famous quote, you might know who it's by. I can't remember, but it's like hard times create hard men create good times create soft men create weak times. Are you familiar with that?
I'm familiar with that quote. And yeah, that's trading. It is. It's a tough, and that's my message, one message in my book, and the message I tell people is like, to be aware that this is a brutally tough industry. And I've got as you read the book, I've got the scars to prove it. And I'm what you would call, I guess, a successful trader, considering I've been in the business so long and I've had plenty of tough times. So yeah, it is. It's a brutal business, but whatever doesn't kill you, I guess, makes you tougher. And that's the same with trading. Every trader is going to have bumps and bruises, and if you can't handle that, then trading's not the business for you. And the losses as long as you learn from the losses, that's a plus because you're going to have the losses. The key is how you handle the losses, and if you learn, then it makes you a better trader. But losses and the tough times are inevitable.
But I mean, do you think sometimes I wonder, do you think trading is almost built? Because I mean, you strike me. We're just speaking now, but you strike me as someone with emotions. You're not one of those guys who are like zero emotion, like completely locked in like a computer robot. Where some traders can be like. So, but you think like almost you need to be emotionless to get through this without too many battle scars, or do you think anyone can do it? You've just got to learn.
There's a fine line. If you're too emotional, it's not going to work. And there's a story in the book about when I had this prop firm, and I used to recruit and hire these traders. And on the first day, I had a new trader come in, and the way the process started, the first weeks you're on this demo account. And the first day he sat on this demo, he was not a demo simulation, not real money. And he started trading just this demo account. And he was going wild. He was screaming and yelling and, F this, F that. And I was like, oh, wow. I was like, okay. And I literally sat him down at the end of the day. It was like, you're fired. It wasn't, and he was bawling. He was crying. It was a rough deal for me. Again, that's not what you want here. But I knew if you're that emotional, if you can't handle your emotions, and if you're acting like that when you're on the demo account, what are you going to be like when you're trading real money? It was a disaster waiting to happen. So, yeah, I'm not the stoic guy who had no emotions. After 24 years, the losing days still sting, and they hurt. The losing trades, and I swear, and not too many broken keyboards and that type of stuff anymore. You got to be able to handle emotions. But yeah, I think it's tough for any trader to be completely unattached to the winners and the losers. But saying that, I mean, the best traders I know are the guys who you have no idea if they made $1 million or if they lost $1 million. It's kind of that same face, that poker face. But I'm also from the school of if you make $1 million, yeah, it's okay to smile and have a good time and go out and celebrate. And that's trading. What's the point if you're not going to do that? But on the flip side, if you have a really bad day, you can't take it too tough. It's going to hurt, and you should go. It's okay to be, I guess, disappointed, and especially if you didn't follow your trading plan. But if every day is just killing you that you have a losing trade or a losing day, then that's not going to work either. So yeah, there's a balance, let's say.
No, I mean I've been trading on and off for over around 8 years now, and it's easy when the times are good. There's so many questions we'll get to, but when the times are good, it's easier to do good in good times, but it's very hard to keep your composure in bad times. But one thing that I noticed about you, so I've been around 8 years trading, haven't seen anywhere near as much as you, but I'd never heard about anyone talking about these glitches. And I know it's an obvious question for you. I know you've been asked it on a bunch of other podcasts, but it's kind of one of the cruxes of the story. And you, if I'm right, you spotted a glitch when you were 10 years old. Was it in Texas? And you were betting on the number 2 horse, and it was
that was Essex. This was the Essex. This was the Essex story. Yeah, this part of the book is I explain my method to trading the outlook, and not only my method, but the method that the prop traders that I've been surrounded with have used to make, let's say, the majority of the money. And it's fairly secretive. I don't think when you generally see most education, it's about candlestick patterns and technical patterns, but I'm trying to share this style, which is basically, I call it glitch trading, but it's taking advantage of inefficiencies, malfunctions, and arbitrage within the markets. It's trying to find what's broken and take advantage of that. And yeah, the story I share where I kind of just, let's say, discovered this style was as a boy in Essex. Yes, I'm originally from Essex. The accent Essex, England, the accent won't tell you that, but we used to go on our summer holidays to a place close by, Broadstairs. I'm not sure, you might be familiar with it, but it's in the South England. And it was a traditional seaside town, and they had these amusement arcades with the slot machines. It's a little different for people outside of England. They don't understand in England we have these
Yeah.
amusement arcades. Yeah, where you have video games and slot machines side by side, where kids and gamblers kind of their playground. It's a little strange situation, but as a kid, I guess I had that urge in me. Even like I remember 10 years old, I was at the video games and I kind of I heard all this money, the pound coins clicking out of these slot machines. I was like, oh wow, this looks a lot more fun than these video games. So I crept over to that side, and I happened to kind of, I guess, fall upon this, let's say, glitch in this slot machine, or it was this horse racing game, and you bet on what horse you wanted to win, and there was like 5 horses, and what they had odds, but I kept betting on this number 2 horse, and he kept winning, and he kept winning, he kept winning, and the first couple of days I went to this arcade, and I was just, my pockets were full of coins, and I was this young kid, and I was I was in heaven, and it was a pretty easy strategy. You just hit the number 2, and it wins, and it wins. And then that, after a couple of days, I had to go back home. And the next summer I went back, and I was like, oh, wow, this is, I'm going to be rich, because now I was prepared. I had some capital. I had a bankroll. And of course, this glitch was fixed. I obviously, if I was hitting this, I'm sure other gamblers were probably hitting this. So the arcade fixed the glitch. I lost all my money, but the story stuck with me. Instead of looking for, let's say, speculate, or I think this is going to go up, or go into the casino and go in the blackjack table or the craps table. No, look for that broken arcade game, or look for the broken slot machine, or if you're trading, look for the broken market, look for that broken trade. For me, there's a lot more edge if you take that approach. So that's the outlook, and that's I guess the introduction I had to glitches.
Yeah, no, because I remember, I mean, like I say, I've been in trading 8 years. I've never heard anyone talk about this, which maybe me, I haven't studied enough, or maybe it's not well enough known. But I mean, is it as simple? Because I remember that you made a lot of money by trading lags. You trade lags and indexes, or you traded lags in hot sectors. But and that reminds me of just betting on number 2 over and over. You're just looking at one index, and then you're looking at another index. I mean, can trading be that simple? It's just about, are people complicating it?
Yeah, they are. It's a fact. The most success I had is simple strategies. A lot of it, like you said, if A stock follows B stock, but there's a little lag, so when B goes up, you quickly buy A and he catches up with it. It's just stuff like that. And those type of strategies I've been doing for 23, 24 years. Of course, sometimes they work, sometimes there's not. Or sometimes that stock will work, and then you have to find another pair, or you have to find another strategy. But yeah, those type of trades are out there. Of course, you have to know what to look for. You have to find that trade, and then you have to hit that trade, and that trade could go away, and then you have to find another trade. But this style of trading, this kind of method, this way to look at trading, I think I believe offers the most edge. And the traders have been around, their profits kind of back that up. And to answer your question, yeah, there's not much out there on it. Because why? Because most guys who use these strategies keep their mouth shut. Most of these trades aren't scalable. If a whole crowd comes in, the edge is gone. So yeah, in these prop firms that I work at, and the big traders, if you're making a lot of money, you're typically not going, oh wow, I'm making $1 million in this amazing strategy. Let me see if I can go sell it in a chat.
Put that on live.
Or $10. No, you're not doing that. So so the lesson is, yeah, these strategies do work, and they are out there, and they're not promoted. And also, if some guy's trying to sell you, saying he's making tens of millions of dollars, he wants to sell you a strategy for $50, think twice about that. But yeah, I strongly believe in this style of strategy. I still use a lot of these glitch trades every single day. I also supplement it with what we'd say is more traditional style of trading. Of course, I still use charts. I tape read. I read the order book. So yeah, it's a mixture of two. But that's my message, and that was the book's message. And when I talk to traders, like, change that mindset. Look for other methods of trading. It's not all about reading charts. It's not all about candlestick patterns. There's other, I think, more simple ways to make money. And yes, simple. You don't have to have 1,000 different technical indicators and all this crazy, screens full of moving averages and all that stuff. No, a lot of it is just if this stock goes up and this stock hasn't yet, you buy this stock. It's simple as that.
No, I mean, I understand, and I've seen I've mostly traded like micro cap stocks, but it's the exact same thing. When you get sector momentum and the leading stock fails, you just wait for all of the other stocks that followed it up to go down, and it has to be.
Yeah, finding a good sector, and that's what if you can find a sector where they all kind of move together, there's always some leaders, there's always laggards. Now you got ETFs, you got ETN, so yeah, it's a great way to trade. Instead of kind of finding an individual stock that just does its own thing, why not trade a sector so you have some guidance? Not only can you trade a stock off a chart, maybe the order book, but you can also go, well, the sector's really strong and this stock hasn't made its move yet, so maybe that's another reason to buy this stock. So yeah, it's a great way to look at the markets.
But do you feel like you've been in a few different prop firms, you've had your own prop firm? I mean, where did you have a specific mentor where you learned the most from, or where do you think you really got your education from? Because I know you got these glitch strategies from the early prop firms, like people maybe sharing a few things here and there.
Yeah, well, that's what I started off in a prop firm, almost 25 years ago. And although there wasn't real structured education, you're just kind of thrown out there. I was fortunate there was some actually successful traders there. At first, because I wasn't taught anything, I was just basically gambling, and I've lost a lot of money. But I quickly realized, okay, what are the guys who are making money doing? What are their styles? What are their methods? Instead of me kind of gambling what way the market's going or speculating or just buying a basket of stock, this isn't working. There's no edge there. What are the guys who are making money? What are they doing? And although most of them weren't that open. Some new guy comes in and show me your secrets. They're kind of like F off. But I kind of knew what they were doing, and that's a benefit of being around other traders. Even if they don't want to share, you can kind of figure out eventually. And if someone else is making money, at least like it's possible. Yeah. Because if you're not, if you're trading alone, you know how tough it is. You can go, well, this is basically impossible. But if you see guys making money, if you see guys, girls making money, then at least it's possible. So I saw people were making money. And back then, this is a long time ago. The markets were more glitchy back then. There was more arbitrage. There's more inefficiencies. These type of lagging strategies were more, there's more of them and they were easier. So I quickly found out, instead of me trying to just predict or guess what way the market was going, let me try and find arbitrage strategy. Let me try and find glitches. Let me copy what these guys or girls are doing that are making money. And yeah, they were, you weren't necessarily handing these strategies over, but you can pretty soon figure it out. And a lot of times I kind of had an idea of what they were doing, and then I tweaked it to fit my style or fit my personality, and kind of went from there. But yeah, I did have the benefit to at least be around a group of traders who are making money, and I had an idea of how they were making money. And the rest of my career in these prop firms, it was a similar situation. Most of the traders were making money doing these type of glitch trades. Also, a lot of them, I'm not saying others weren't doing momentum trading and some position trading and technical analysis type stuff, but a big portion was these glitch trades. And a lot of the glitch trades were shared or you stole, let's say stolen. So yeah, of course it's a benefit. And that's a big lesson is, try and.
So if someone is new to the game, and this is a question I had from the end. If someone's new to the game, based on all of the experience that you've got, how would you teach them to get started in trading?
First, like we've been talking about, try and find a skilled mentor, try and find guidance. Don't do it alone. I know that's tough. I was fortunate enough to be in a prop firm. I know these prop firms, there's not many of them left, and they're really tough to get into. If you're going to do it alone, let's say alone, do it remotely, or, trade by yourself without being backed by a firm, it is still possible to be profitable, of course, but you have to find a way to get a proper education. Don't, oh, well, I heard my friend's making a ton of money, or, the market's going straight up. Yeah, of course there are people making money. And a lot of times it's more luck than anything. As soon as the market turns down, their account gets blown out. So, my guidance is, first, have a plan. How are you going to get your education? There's a lot of things. Make sure you have enough capital. Make sure you have enough time. Have a plan. Be realistic. Realize that this is going to take a while before you learn the ropes, before you know what you're doing. And as I keep saying, I'm saying glitch trading and these type of strategies, try and find the easiest way to make money. Don't go in and go, I want to do it my way, or I think I'm going to go in and I'm going to pick stocks, or I'm going to buy Tesla because I think this or that. Like, no, we got to try and you have to have a strategy. That's everything. You have to have a strategy, and that strategy has to have an edge. So the goal is to go in, find a strategy with edge, and then once you have that strategy, make sure you can execute that strategy effectively. So you got to have a plan, you got to have time, you got to have the money, you got to have education, and ultimately the goal is to find that strategy. So, make sure you have a plan to kind of incorporate all that.
But it makes sense completely what you're saying, and it kind of comes down to like how bad you want it. Like maybe some people don't like to socialize, but you've got to get out of your comfort zone. You've got to do the research. You've got to do the networking. You've got to meet good traders. You've got to convince good traders that you can be a good trader and they can share things with you. And you've got to come with some knowledge.
Well, that's the thing. There are plenty of people. It's easy if you get in a prop firm, you're around all these guys, but there are other ways to do it. Reach out to people. Again, I still do it, even though I know a lot of traders. I love networking. I love talking trading. So, whether it's trading conferences, maybe it's Twitter, maybe it's Instagram, whatever, find traders in your area, have a meetup, go to conferences, reach out to guys even online. I'm not saying your sole education should be on Twitter or YouTube, because it is. There's a lot of sharks. It's a mess. But there are good resources out there. There are traders who are willing to help. You just kind of have to filter through all the bad stuff, all the garbage. But it does take effort. Don't be proud. And that's been probably one of my biggest mistakes is I'll do it my own way. I've got my own strategies. No, reach out. I love talk to traders. And that's how I got a lot of my good strategies in the past, is just talking to traders, asking them, hey, how you doing? How's trading? What are you trading? What are you looking at? Not everyone's open and going to share a bunch of stuff, and that's fine. But plenty of guys are, and I'm the same way. I love talking trading. If someone wants to talk trading, like you're saying now, I'll just blabber on for hours. It's fun because when you're talking to a trader or talking trading, not many other people understand trading. So when you're talking to a trader, it's like, oh, wow, these people kind of understand my world. They know what it's like, what a losing day is like. They know how bad it feels when you get wiped out. That's the thing. So there are people out there willing to help, but you also have to give too. If you're just going, please give me your streak of strategy, give me a trade, it's not that easy too. There has to be a give and take. And don't expect, that's the thing. I think when you're looking for education or you're looking for help online, don't look for someone to hand you that magical trade. Look for someone that hands you a magical method or strategy or a way to look at the market. And that's what I try and do. I'm not really, if I see a great trade that's scalable, I'll put it onto X or I'll write about it or whatever. But mainly my goal is to, hey, this is the way I look at the market. This is the way a lot of profitable traders look at the market. These are the type of strategies we use. This is a method. Okay, now I'm teaching you this method or strategies. Now you can kind of develop your own strategy or own style and just go from there. Just kind of push you in the right direction. Don't expect everyone's just going to hand you that magical trade or magical strategy. Of course, there's a lot of work you have to do by yourself, And if you're not up to that, or if you're not passionate about it, or if you don't enjoy trading, or if you don't do it, if you don't want to do the hard work, if you don't want to bust your ass, then don't do it. But there are plenty of resources out there to help you. Yes, some of them are free, some of them you may have to pay for, but a lot of the best resources are free. I mean, and a lot of the worst resources are the ones you pay for.
I'm very curious about this next question that I've got for you, because it's something that I thought twice about when I was reading through in the book. And you said, after a really strong March 2020, you mentioned, if you want to be a millionaire trader someday, you won't make it grinding out 10K months, which was a really interesting one for me. And I think it's because you made a load of money all of a sudden in March 2020, and in the previous year you grinded 10K months. Yeah, I mean, I was curious, because a lot of traders say, go slow, go steady, go consistent. Is it a case of sizing up when the right times happen?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the answer it is. I also, my P&L curve is, it's just huge spikes, and then hopefully kind of hanging out, and huge spikes. And that's, I think, most profitable, most successful traders are the same way. You make the bulk of your money in really small windows. Doesn't mean there's not edge the rest of the time, but I look at it, you kind of, as a trader, your goal is to kind of, let's say, stay in the game, stay alive, don't blow out your account, and then sooner or later there will be that great trade, or that great month, or that great year, which usually coincides with market volatility. And 2020 was an amazing trading for me and nearly every other, experienced trader I know, because there was market volatility. And why, of course, that was because of COVID and everything revolving around there. So typically volatility creates opportunities, and then opportunities create profits. It doesn't necessarily, there could be a one-off event, there could be an amazing trade that hits, but yeah, I don't think I really know any traders who just, they're millionaires because they made 10 grand every month. In my trading career, which has spanned almost 25 years, I would say 90 to 95% of my profits were made in 3-year span. 2008, which we had crazy volatility because of the financial crisis, and then 2020, 2021, which was the COVID-induced crazy.
GME, GameStop, AMC,
Yeah, it was
Wall Street bets, the hedge funds are blowing, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, saying that now, unfortunately, my P&L hasn't necessarily shown it, but I think a lot of traders, if your style is maybe momentum trading, or if you're really into crypto, or these really volatile tech stocks, right now could be that golden time where you're really making more than you've ever made in your career. So yeah, that's the goal, is to stay in the game. Don't blow out your account, because eventually there will be that huge volatility. There will be that amazing trades. So you have to be alive. You have to still be there trading. And you also have to have a way to take advantage of it. It can't be so, oh, well, the market's really volatile, now I'm going to make a ton of money. If you don't know how to, you don't have a strategy, or you don't know how to trade that market, that could be a problem. But probably the saddest thing I've seen in my career is traders blowing out their account right before 2008 or right before 2020. And good traders who the market's is tough, all right, finally, or I lose all my money, or I'm going to try something else. And then 2020 came along, or 2021 or 2008. And these traders would have been millionaires, or, multiple times, if they'd just been able to stay in the game, or you could say be lucky, or be lucky enough to be there, because a lot of it is luck. Who knows when this time would be? So, if I've seen a lot of good traders who were trading from, let's say, 2009 to 2019 in a 10-year span, and really struggled, maybe didn't make any money. And I've seen really awful traders make millions of dollars in a week or two in 2020 or 2021, just because they're at the right time at the right place.
That's the right amount of money, yeah. I mean, but that's the thing though, like because I remember I read, you are struggling with the markets. You put a last bet on Facebook, the IPO, and it well, it actually crashed. Were you planning on that trade? Because I remember reading that you got kind of froze out by the broker, or there was a technical error. But I mean, would you have lost all of the money regardless, or did you lose it because of the error?
I'll blame it on the broker. It wasn't. By the way, it's nothing to do with Zimtra. This was right before. Maybe it was a blessing because I blew that account and I switched to Zimtra and it's been fine. Yeah, I'll blame it wasn't the broker. It was actually on the Facebook IPO. It was to do with the NASDAQ, but yeah, it was more of a bad deal with the actual exchange. Although the actual IPO didn't work out, so who knows? I probably, the way I was trading back then, it'd have probably been inevitable. I'd have blown out my account, but yeah, it was more. I think I'll blame it on the exchange.
But I mean, like, what I'm curious to know about is like two questions. One, how do you stay in the games through the bad times to be lucrative in the good times? Let's do that one first. How do you stay in the game during the bad times?
Well, if you've read the book, it was. I mean, I really, I was as the book. I sold the book. And there was times where I was literally dead broke. I didn't have a place to live. I was teaching English for $10 an hour in Poland. It was really rough. And again, I think we talked about earlier, what trading really toughens you up. If you're not tough, if you can't do that, you will struggle. So I think it was more survival instincts with me. And this is another good lesson to traders out there: have a backup plan. Thing is, with me, I've been doing trading so long, and glitch trading doesn't really transfer to anything else in the real world. So I don't have any skills. I don't know how to do anything. I didn't really have any other options it wasn't like, I'll quit trading and jump into this lucrative corporate job where I teach, my glitch trading skills are somewhat desirable. It wasn't, that wasn't a thing. So with me, it was more survival. But I still had, even during the dark days, I kind of knew your confidence goes, but I don't know. I've always had that mentality. I almost trade better with my back against the wall.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's a good thing. It's almost like some self-sabotage in there. It's when you go to the casino and you're betting and you don't have anything to lose, you get a bigger rush than like if you got big bankroll. Maybe that's something to do with it. Although I don't like that feeling anymore. But I think that maybe I don't want to psychoanalyze things, but maybe that had something to do with it. But yeah, it was more just a battle for survival. And as we said, even during the dark days, I kind of knew that sooner or later we're going to get some more volatility, or there's going to be that magical trade. I had to wait a while. I mean, I had to wait because there was a big gap between 2008 and 2020. Although don't get me wrong, there was opportunities, and a good trader, I was able to make some money. At times, not enough to kind of, not enough. But I always figured, okay, stay in the game, stay alive, and sooner or later, something will happen. It's a kind of a sad deal where I'm like, oh, please be a global pandemic so I can resurrect my trading career. But that's the way it works with trading. Unfortunately, we usually profit off these events, which generally are not a good thing for the general population. The financial crisis, which was amazing trading, wasn't good for most people. COVID, everyone's locked inside their house, and we've got this global pandemic, and traders are just like, oh wow, this is the greatest time ever. So yeah, it's that kind of mindset of survival instincts and stay in the game. And I didn't have any other options, and that's not good. I would suggest any trader gets into trading, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Make sure you have something to fall back on, whether it's skills or a nest egg or other income. Don't go into this. Go, wow! I'm so confident in myself. I'm going to be a profitable trader. The odds are you won't. So plan accordingly.
But yeah, I mean, that was, I guess, the better way to ask the question would have been, what advice would you give to yourself starting over again if you could give it, if the advice now? Would it be just, as you've said,
Yeah,
do you have to go through those terrible times? You don't have to. Does every trader have to go through terrible times?
No, there's plenty of guys I know who have been in, not many, I mean, there's not many guys who have been, prop trading for 20 plus years, but the ones that I do know, no, they've live a happy, normal life, not much volatility, big bankroll. They've never had to teach English for $10 an hour. I think I'm unique in that sense. Usually the guys who do survive are a lot more stable. I think that's a reason probably why I've had my struggles is because maybe my personality is a little more volatile. So that was, have a backup plan. Another big problem is we talked about, I was fortunate enough to be in this prop firm or in an office around other traders. I was like, nah, I don't want to do this. I want to travel the world. I want to move to England. I want to do this. I want freedom. I want independence. I want to get a higher split of payout or whatever. And I decided that was more important than being surrounded by these really successful traders in an environment which was more conducive to me making money, more structured. And I think certain traders, maybe like myself, need that more disciplined environment and just to be surrounded. I thrive off the competition. When I'm in an office and I see some guy making money, I feel like for the last 10 years off and on, pretty much I've been trading remotely by myself. And, I do it because, I kind of have to, but I would feel like my trading career and my profits would have been a lot greater if I just stuck to being in an office around successful traders. That's how beneficial being surrounded by traders. So if you can surround yourself, meet up with, if you're not a prop trader, try and find some guys to start an office. Yeah, I know you can do a chat room, and that's beneficial, someone to talk to, but it's even better in person. So if you can find a group, start an office, I would suggest. And that's been one of my problems is I've been doing this remote for, let's say, too long.
No, actually, there's some of the best, I started 8 years ago, and some of the best retail traders I know from my generation. I remember seeing 3 or 4 guys all come through at the same time and all be the top guys at the same time. And what a surprise, they're all trading in the same house together. They'd all met each other remotely, found each other, had the motivation to say, look, this is me life. I'll sleep on your sofa. We'll all trade together. They all shared a house and they all made it together. And so what you're saying is exactly the same experience I've had as well. But I mean, for you, being around so many traders over the last 20 plus years, what would you say makes the greatest traders great?
I talked about competitiveness. I think that's one trait I always see. That competitive, they want to be the top trader. They're not, and it's a double-edged sword because I've been there too. Really, you're never really happy how much money you make. You make $1 million, the guy next to you makes $1,001. You're like, oh shit, like that's I had a bad day. But that's what I think with any performance, and trading is a performance related activity. Competitive makes the great ones the best. In basketball, who's the best basketball? Michael Jordan. He's the most competitive guy you ever find. Golf, it's Tiger Woods. Football, Tom Brady. American football, Tom Brady. It's these guys who are just ultra competitive, and trading's the same way. So competitiveness is always something. And I think what goes hand in hand with that is confidence. You have to. Trading is all about confidence. If you're not confident, in your ability and your strategies, and whether you can execute those strategies, you're not going to make it. So you have to have that confidence. And usually, if you're confident, you're also you're competitive. Yeah. Usually, you don't want to compete if you're not confident you're going to win, right? So it kind of makes sense. So I think those are two two traits I always see in the great traders is that the competitiveness, the confidence, and we mentioned earlier they can handle the losses. If you can't handle losses in this game, you're not going to be successful. You're definitely not going to be a great trader. So I know even the great traders, I know, they might not show it, but I do know it still stings, and a losing day probably affects them. But they're not slamming keyboards. They're not going crazy. They're not, the world's going to end type attitude. They're let's say a little more stoic about things.
Yeah, I traded for I've traded for a while. I never made it to the point of trading full time. That's why I run different things. When I had a bad day, I couldn't physically resist just drinking a full bottle of wine, and then waking up the next morning with a hangover and trying to make me money back in a terrible state, and never made it.
If you read my book, I've had those problems before. I think that's definitely not, as you would say, it's not the way to deal with it. But trading is highly stressful. It can be very dangerous. And I write about that in the book too. Like if you don't handle the stresses properly, and, alcohol and drugs is not the way to handle it. I'm not saying, beer after a good day or, to unwind is fine. But if every bad day and then every good day you have to take the edge off, and as you said, not only is it a bad habit, but trading is a performance related activity. If you wake up and you're trading with a hangover, or you didn't get enough sleep, or you're not in the right mindset, then that's going to affect your trading, and it's going to, you get in this vicious circle of, then you drink more and then your trading's worse, and then it's not the way to handle it. So yeah, that's another great point about things.
Do you feel like the best are the clean living, sober? Because there's a lot of people drinking and stuff and trading and prop firms. I'd imagine there's lots of nights out and guys hanging out with each other. But I mean, is that why 90% fail?
It's not. That's what was shocked me, because when I first got in trade, I was like, oh, this could be like Wolf of Wall Street type stuff.
Is it not?
But I guess I kind of wanted some of that. Maybe that's what drew me to it. So I was like, yeah, this is gonna be crazy, and we're gonna make tons of money, and we're gonna party hard, and it's gonna be wild. And the funny thing is, especially in Texas, where my old office I traded in, it's like everyone, guys who make $1 million in a day would be like, my brother's a professional trader too, and me and my brother would be like, come on, guys, let's go hit the bar, get a happy hour. And everyone else would be like, nah, we're going to the gym, we're going to church, we're going, Renee, what? So no, and I think now that, people imagine traders as these, you get the Wolf of Wall Street type guys, this image, which it kind of used to be. But I think now good traders is more, as you said, the more at the beginning is a more kind of, it's introverted. Now it's all about math geniuses, programmers.
Fair.
It's not these pit trader type guys, and it's not these boiler room type things. It's a different environment. It's in my 23 years, trading has totally changed, where you don't have these trading floors with guys screaming and yelling and pounding keyboards, and the old school pit traders are gone. It's to get a job at these prop firms now, you have to be like a quantitative math genius, or know 8 programming languages. So, and generally these types aren't your crazy party type guys. I'm not saying that they can't be, but yeah, that's I think that's kind of an urban legend about these prop firms. Of course, there's always guys who go out and have fun, and there is a business where you have young guys making millions of dollars, and of course they do stupid things. And I was definitely one of those. But I think generally now it's a different type of scene, which is, I guess, maybe a good thing.
So I mean, when you started your prop firm, obviously you want to hire the best traders possible so you can make money with them and your prop firm can make money. What were the skills and attributes of the traders that you were looking for? What characteristics make the best traders in your eyes?
as I said, I wanted guys who were confident, like swagger or something. I wanted guys who walk in like, yeah, I can do this. Not, I guess it can go too far where you're just obnoxious, asshole. That's too far. But confidence, swagger. If you don't think you're gonna make it as a trader, you won't make it. Even if you think you make it, you probably won't make it. But if you don't think you make it, you won't make it. So I was looking for confidence. I was looking for that competitiveness. I was looking for. I still think a math background helps. I think analytical skills, problem solving, pattern recognition. There's chess. Yeah, I had a guy who was a chess wizard. Game. It used to be gaming was a big thing, and I still think it helps because back in the day, it used to be a lot of strategies were about speed on the keyboard. That's gone somewhat because the automated trading's kind of killed that. You're not going to beat the bots, but speed still does help. And gaming is a lot of pattern recognition, and so I think that's a skill that can help. So I was looking at skills like that. Youth, I think helps. I think, unfortunately for myself, youth helps. I think your reflexes are faster, and the big thing is, as I know, once you have kids, once you have families, once you have mortgages, it affects your kind of outlook on risk management. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. A trader shouldn't be ultra lax in their risk management, but you also can't be too worried about this and that. So, youth, I think generally can be a blessing in trading, but not necessarily. It depends what your strategy is. I'm a scalper. I've always been a scalper, which is fast. You react in skills. So yeah, if you're old and slow, kind of like I am now, it's not generally good for that style. So yeah, I was looking for youth, competitive confidence, swagger, and math, analytical programming, those type of skills.
But it doesn't matter if they haven't come in they have to have previous track records as well. Like they have to know what they're doing, or they don't have to have any knowledge. But if you believe in yourself,
a lot of times people come in with, if they go, oh, well, I've tried trading before. And what they've tried is what I would say, there's no edge. When I started prop firm, and even traders now, it's like, I think a trader should be pointed in the right direction.
Yeah.
This is what I wanted when I had traders like, no, this is where edge is. Not because I think so, but because I've seen how they make their money. I've seen how I make my money. I have the P&Ls to back that up. So yeah, if a trader said, hey, here's my track record and I made so much money trading and I make money consistently. Yeah, great. Yeah, that's of course a benefit. But just general trading experience, I don't think is necessarily always a blessing. It can be a curse if you come in with this mindset of, well, this is the way trading should be done, and this is the way I trade, and this is the way I'm going to keep trading. I think as I said earlier, a trader should adapt to where the most edge is, whether it's strategies, whether it's markets, whether it's time scales, whether it's what instruments it is. You can't go, well, this is the way I trade, and this is the way I'm going to be a trader, and this is the way I want to trade. You have to be flexible.
Just as we're coming to the end now, just a couple of questions on Zimtra. How did you find out about these guys?
I found out about Zimtra. I was trading with it's like a traditional U.S. prop firm, and I guess it was right when I blew out we talked about this Facebook trade, so I blew out my account, and I guess I had the option of, putting the money in this U.S. prop firm. And at this time, I was in Europe, so I wasn't really getting the benefit of trading in this office. And I had some friends who were using these offshore prop firms, similar to Zimtra, but a different one. And they were telling me about the cheaper commissions and buying power and so on. And I was like, wow, the commissions were so much cheaper. So I was like, oh, I'll look into this. And I did some homework, I did some research, and I came upon Zimtra. And I was fortunate enough to meet Adam Lambert, and had a good chat with him. I met some other traders who were using Zimtra, and I was sold. It was almost too good to be true, coming from the deal and the broker I was using. And it was, the commissions were better. I had more buying power. I had good software. So I felt secure. I've never had any issues with, withdrawing my money or anything like that. So yeah, everything was, it was kind of a better, it was overall, it's just a better deal on so many fronts than what I was used to. So it was, my lawyer was like, yeah, this was too good to be true. But 12 years later, it's obviously turned out to be, been a great decision on my part.
Oh no, nice. It's very nice to hear. And then if you just want to give in a few words, if possible, if you could give the three best advantages you have to trading in order from worst to best to close out, and any other golden nuggets, and I think that'll be a wrap.
Well, again, my advantage, this is just in general. I'd say the trader's advantage is, and we keep talking about this, is strategies. I feel like if I have edge in my strategies, then I have an advantage. If I don't have edge, and when I say edge, that's a strategy with an edge, then I don't have an advantage. If I don't have an edge, I shouldn't trade. There's no advantage. I'm gambling. So that's my ultimate advantage over the market, is to have a strategy with edge. My another advantage would be experience, of course, but I also say experience in networking, knowing enough people, knowing what people are doing. And I'm fortunate enough to be in the business a long time, and my brother's a trader. I know all these traders, but as we talked about earlier, it's possible for guys and girls who haven't been in the business that long to reach out and find other people to talk to get education from. So that's an advantage. It's who you know, networking, that edge. We can put that in the same thing as education. And finally, I guess advantage I have is, let me think of this one. The broker, I'll go back to this. Zimtra is actually a huge advantage, because if I look at my P&L for the last, let's say, 10 to 12 years, if I was at this old U.S. firm, this has saved me maybe hundreds of thousands, I don't know, millions of dollars. This is a huge advantage. So that's advantage, and not only advantage in profits, but it could be in locates, it could be in software, it could be in a lot of things. So that's been another big advantage I have, that over a lot of other traders do. If a lot of other traders, a lot of traders out there are using these other brokers, or them paying a lot more commissions, they don't have as much leverage, they don't have as good software, they don't have locates, which I have. They're at a huge disadvantage to me. And the margins in trading are so thin. If your broker is causing a big disadvantage, then there might be not edge in your trading at all. And we're not even gone into the fact that a lot of these other sketchy brokers, you can lose all your money. They take your money, they're gone, they blow up. So that's of course, if that happens, then your trading career, good chance it's over. So that's been a big advantage that I have right now and for years or so.
And that's at every level, though. Like I've traded with other brokers, and then I've moved to like Zimtra, which is a prop firm. But like I remember, like in 2020, the same time as you, when the market was really hot, and not trading anywhere near the size of volume as you. And I was thinking, like, I had a flat day because I was up $400, but my commissions were $400, and I was like, $400 is no joke. Like $400 is not a joke for me. Like $400 is a lot of money in Rio de Janeiro. It's a lot of money.
Yeah,
and
no, it adds up. And when I go through and see the fees, and there's so many little fees, and every little micro penny can end up over the long run, can end up saving you a whole bunch of money. So yeah, broker is a huge thing.
Last question. I'm just wondering, what's keeping you occupied? What's keeping you happy now? What's happening in the next couple of years for you, David?
Well, still trading, still busy trading. I still trade every single day, and does keep me happy, I guess. I still love trading. I have a love affair with that. But after 23 or 24 years of just grinding away, slaving away trading, I've written this book, and I'm talking to you, and I'm trying to get out there a little more, trying to get away from just the grind, and as I said, I don't have too many other skills apart from trading, but at least I could talk about trading or try and help some traders, trying to educate. So I'm trying to do a little bit more in that, and yeah, separating myself a little more from just straight slaving away, grinding away, sitting in front of the screens for 12 hours a day. I'm getting too old for that. So yeah, it's that, and trying to take more breaks, travel, and I'm an old man now, especially in the trading world. So I need my breaks from trading. So, and try and enjoy the fruits of this profession. So that's the plan. But yeah, still going at it, and I'm always hoping for, I wouldn't say next COVID or next financial crisis, but next great trading, let's say.
Beautiful. We'll leave it there. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for the book. The link's in the description. And I'll put David's website in the description so you can take a little look there as well. Thank you, David.